Hey guys, thanks for tapping in on this video. I want to remind you that we are crowdfunded and dream-driven around here. If you would like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/pigeons420. With your support, we can interview some of the biggest minds in our space right here. Thank you so much to our members. Thank you so much to our patrons for supporting the show. And thank you for watching today's conversation. Mr. Q, this is by far one of the smoothest transitions between news and guests we've ever had. So thank you, Mr. Q. Thank you for being the smoothest transition we've ever had, man.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me, bro. I'm honored. I'm honored that you asked me to be here on your podcast on the TeawithP. I'm a big admirer of your content. You have been doing this for what, 4 years now already? Something like that, 5 years? So
10.
Definitely
Yep,
new.
10.
Definitely. Oh, what, 10 years?
Yeah. This is year 10.
Wow.
Yeah, this is year 10.
Wow, man. Shit, I'm such a newbie. Oh my God.
That's okay. You were testing me on my own stuff. That's important. That's important. We had to establish boundaries.
Yes.
Man, bro.
You have such a great studio.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Mr. Q, thank you for coming, man. I gotta be honest, bro. I to start things off, I try to invite people that I feel the most comfortable with at the start, because I want to be able, I know it's going to be a little rocky, right? So I'm like, I want to invite people that I'm comfortable with, that I've spoken with, that I know, and that's why I had to choose you, because you're a friend of mine. We partied in Vegas. We had some quality conversations. We danced, we smoked, we laughed, we cried. We broke glass together. I feel like that's a ceremony somewhere. So yeah. Mr. Q, real quick, my brother, because I know there's maybe one person in the chat that doesn't know who I'm talking to. Who are you, and what do you do? And who is your daddy?
So I'm Quentin. People know me as Mr. Q. That actually comes from here in Colombia. In Spanish, my name is very difficult to pronounce. And explaining to a Colombian that my name is Quentin is very difficult. So people just automatically started calling me Q. But because here people are so polite, they don't just call me Q. They say Mr. Q. And so that's how slowly my name changed from Quentin to Mr. Q. Basically, it also sounds good in English. I thought, hey, it's actually smart. Doesn't matter if people search me and online in Spanish or in English, they will always find me because it's just Mr. Q in both languages. So I thought it was pretty great.
Genius.
So I'm Mr. Q, originally from Belgium, but now I've been living in Colombia already for 7 years, almost 8 years. That's 7.5 years at the moment. So I'm basically almost Colombian as well. And I grow a lot of weeds. I love growing weeds. I've been doing that now for almost 15 years, growing at home. And I started with Dakota of Homegrow TV a couple years ago, helping him out with his channel. At the beginning, I was basically like the weed expert, or the guy who knew how to grow in Colombia, which was very different than in Belgium or in USA. We have different products. We didn't have access to all the genetics. We didn't have access to tents or lights or whatever. So especially in the beginning, I had to help out a lot to pimp to grow, basically. But now Dakota is already such a professional. If it comes to growing, he really doesn't need me anymore. And now we even have grow bros who are trained by us and help us with the growing. Because what we do is basically testing genetics here, doing tests for seed banks, small scale or big scale, whatever we can handle. We take pictures, we make content. And so basically we want to teach people all over the world how to grow cannabis at home. And that's how our paths also crossed. Thanks to AC Infinity, we had a chance to go and party in Vegas. Sydney was like, hey, you really got to meet these guys. These guys are fucking awesome. I want to invite you all to Vegas. And the rest is history. That's when we broke the glass, literally.
Yes, bro, okay. I wish I had brought the clip up. I wish I had it ready. oh, this would be such the moment to do it, and I didn't even think of it until I had said we broke glass together. I have that clip. I have that clip of the yep of the glass breaking, and I broke it in slow motion. But I don't want to jump to that because people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We'll insert a post production. I think I did that the last time we talked too. Um, so yeah, Mr. Q, you joining up with Homegrow TV, spreading the word about cannabis has been an absolute delight. Your content, along with Dakota's content, is incredible. You are a great dude. You're so passionate about this plant that it's infectious. Because when we were talking together in Vegas, man, it's just you totally understand the harmony and the peace that comes with the plant and the kind of the community that it builds when you share it with other people. And that's really how I felt when we had our conversations in Vegas. And yes, AC Infinity had a huge part in that, and it was incredible. It was incredible. Um, you've been remarkably busy in helping spread the word of cannabis over the course of the last few weeks, man. You've been all over the place.
Yeah, thank you. We've been working pretty hard in the last weeks, months. One side, of course, Homegrow TV, which is always, very busy there. We're always trying to make the next amazing video that makes people fall from their chair. We're also making a lot of pictures now, doing lab tests. So many of the seed banks ask us also to send the flowers to certified lab, really get the cannabinoids and terpenes tested to see if what the description says is really true. And not only what I smell with my nose or you smell with your nose, but really terps, quantities, certified lab tests are, very important for those brands to really see what's up with the flowers. So no, the last weeks/months have been very, very crazy. I also love to go to the international cannabis events. This year we went, so not only to Vegas together, that was actually December, right? So that was actually last year.
Yep. Yep.
That was pretty awesome, but you cannot compare it with a fun event like Spannabis in Spain. For the people who haven't been
Of
yet,
course.
it's really a totally different vibe. Like it's really consumer focused, and a lot of people just really go there to first of all get high, and second buy a lot of seeds. Really genetic hunters,
Yes.
which is really my type of vibe because everybody's smoking around there, looking pretty high. Sometimes they don't even find their words how to ask you the question because they're just too high at the moment, too much going on there. But so Spain, and so especially Spannabis for me was very cool because it was also smokers focused. So we could go to the cannabis clubs after, have a good smoke. There were weed parties, basically a lot of people consuming weed everywhere. And I thought that was the greatest event. That was like the best event up to now. But, ladies and gentlemen, now Germany legalized also cannabis. And so we went to Mary Jane to the expo in Berlin. And guys, what I've seen there was some of the
Yes.
craziest shit I've ever seen.
It
Of
looked
course, you get a lot of comments. Sorry?
it looked amazing. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was so big, it was a little bit chaotic. That's why I'm saying like the event, sorry, maybe gets a little bit of comments from the people that were there, was standing in line outside for too long. I was also in line for too long, like almost an hour to get in there. And I was, half and half working. So it was like, we want to get inside. But besides all of that, it also just shows the interest of the people. The rooms, the expo was completely fully booked. The last month, there were another 100 extra brands that showed up. So from 150 to 250 expositors, if I say that good, like stands and brands. So all of a sudden, there was a big boom. Also, they didn't expect that many people. So the Saturday, they even had to close the doors, and it was just too full. The policemen and the firemen said to the organization, guys, we're gonna have to close the entrance, or we're gonna have to close down the event. There's just too many people. We gotta keep it safe. So of course, some people were a little bit annoyed, but for us, like for me as a visitor, it was amazing. Everybody was so excited. The visitors for one side, the smokers, we could just smoke wherever we want, but also the brands, because everybody was like, "Whoa, there's so many new potential clients, such a new market that opens up." Germany is economically one of the, no, it is the number one country of Europe when it comes to economy. So they're one of the strongest. They're like the econo, I would say that the economical engine of Europe. So of course, people have money there. They like to buy some really good genetics. They're looking for the best of the best. So there was just a very nice vibe, a lot of opportunities. Business was going well for the stand. So for me, it was the best event in the whole world that I have been to up to now. It was really, really incredible.
Really,
I
eh?
have been to quite a lot of events.
I'm so excited to hear that, man. I'm so excited to hear that because the boys and I have talked about going to Spannabis a ton,
Mm,
a ton. I'm
mm.
I'm a wuss, and I don't want to fly over the ocean for whatever reason. It's hard to justify because what's the difference
Yeah,
between flying
why?
over the ocean? Exactly. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, P, come on.
I know.
So fun. Come to
Next
Europe. I'll
year,
show you
next
around.
year. I really want to. Well, first of all, I would love to make it out to see you guys in Colombia at some point, and then to go to Spanish,
Man.
like would be something else too. I would love to see you guys more than anything. But man, Spannabis sounds absolutely incredible, and to hear that that was outdone by Germany, and your guys' footage of Germany looked awesome, man. You hung out with everyone too. So that was compliments of Humboldt. You guys went out as a Humboldt crew. Is that correct?
Dakota went with Humboldt because he was also making a documentary about the German homegrowers, and he was filming a second part in Morocco. They're making like a bigger documentary, going a couple times this year to really film the several stages and seasons there in Morocco. So especially Dakota was hanging out with the Humboldt Seed crew, but as you know, we're all friends. So of course, when I go to the event and I see the Humboldt Seed stand, like that's my spot, we hang out. But it's not like we were working there. I was actually visiting in Europe as a coincidence. I'm from Belgium, as you guys know. So I was visiting family for a month, and accidentally, or like a colleague wrote me, he's like, "Hey, you're definitely coming to Berlin, right?" I didn't check my calendar before, and I saw that I could only make it for one day. But I thought, it's going to be the best event ever. So even if it's just for one day, I should do whatever I can to get there.
You darn
And
right.
luckily, yeah, luckily my plane got canceled to fly back. So eventually I could go 2 days. It was pretty close to fly back to Colombia, but I made it all in time. It was absolutely great. And I'm so happy that I could go 2 of the 3 days. So it was hectic, and it went super fast, but definitely worth it to go. So if you're thinking about going to Spannabis or going to Germany, maybe it's a difficult choice, but I think I would recommend you to go to Germany if you ask me,
Yep.
because the consumption is so open and so legal now. You can even smoke in public after a certain hour, and that for me is just gold. In Spain, you would think it's legal, but imagine, bro, in Spanish, so I was coming out of a social weed club at 1 a.m. in the night, and I go into an Uber with a friend of mine, the Dr. Rachel from Jamaica there. And imagine the police pull us over 2 minutes later. So clearly they were watching the coffee shop or the social weed club,
Yep.
and they shook us down. All the weed that we had, they threw it away right in front of us in like the public street. Basically, they just threw it away in the water, destroyed my weed, or it was a fine of 700 euros. So I said, no, of course,
Yeah.
destroy the
No,
bottle,
take the wheel.
leave me alone.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit weird vibe, That's not really as a tourist. First of all, going for a cannabis event, the last thing that we want to do is, at the moment, we're very high at 1 a.m. in the morning. Really like so high, getting in a taxi home and then getting like attacked by the police
That's
is really
horrible.
the last thing.
That's horrible.
That kills the vibe, It
Of
kills the
course it
vibe
does.
completely.
Okay, so I didn't even
Like,
know this, bro. So hold on. So Spain isn't legal?
no, man. And they're actually cracking down now even more on the social weed clubs. It's like a gray zone. just like in Holland with some different rules.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
all over Spain, they have been cracking down the social weed clubs as well. They left alone a little bit Barcelona, but now they're also cracking down on the social weed clubs in Barcelona. So it's just like, and I know a lot of people who have a social weed club there in Barcelona, and also for them, it's very stressful because they know that week is so important. Thousands of people come from all over the world. Imagine you invite your friends or your colleagues or your partners to your social weed club,
Yeah.
and that day the police comes and busts it and takes away all your weed while all your clients are sitting there. It really doesn't look
Horrible.
good for anyone,
No,
and
it's
it's just
horrible.
such a stress. While in Germany, as I said, now you can smoke in public. They're going to start social weed clubs there as well. I don't know exactly how the laws are going to go towards that, but they're definitely working on that. You can already get medicinal weed with a medicinal card or whatsoever. Anyway, when you go to Germany, you will see weed everywhere, and you're able to smoke it in public. So I think for me that's gold.
Man, okay. I honestly, I had no idea that one of the best events in Europe isn't even legal. I should have known because like, where are they legal? But that's
Right?
really good to know, man. Because you're right. When you go out and you're chilling and you're out vibing and you are out enjoying an event that's specifically curated around cannabis, you don't want to get pulled over by the fuzz and have to deal with that.
Uh,
No, you're right.
yeah, it was such a buzz killer to be honest. Also the time, we felt like criminals that they were watching the shop. Also the day after, we heard it from other people, like the police is watching the exits of the social weed clubs, really like hunting for people who just bought weed. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
dude.
they're
Sure.
totally watching, bro. You can't tell me that like 100%. Now that you just shared with me that they're totally watching. They're totally watching. Of
Yeah.
course they are. That's foolish. Or like, it's not foolish. I just mean it's oh, it's foolish. It's horrible. It's horrible. That's the system we work around.
Yeah.
But that's I'm glad to hear that Germany is that much better because Germany has recently opened the gates in regards to their legalization, and we've been watching because it's kind of been cool to watch. I was a huge fan of their medical program to begin with. I didn't realize that they would pay for your weed to get shipped from anywhere pretty well. Like, wow. Wow,
That's
that's
crazy. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So, shout out to Germany for really paving the way in what I would say is probably one of the best approaches that I've seen so far.
Mm.
And to see that or to hear that you had a positive experience, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully they become the example for the rest of Europe. As I said, they're the economical engine of Europe. Hopefully they can show some really nice results. And I'm sure, watch my words, Pete, when the first billion euros of taxes are going to come in and they're going to, the news is going to publish that and they're going to show the results and be like, look, this is Germany. They have 1 billion euros in taxes. And it's Germany, it's not like Colombia where the money will disappear into thin air. Normally, every euro will be accounted for and it will be reinvested in whatever project that they have in mind. And hopefully that opens up the eyes of other politicians in Europe. And they will be like, guys, are we really going to get Germany again run away with 1 billion euros in tax money for letting people smoke and spend less money in police forces, paperwork, courts, and whatever? Just stupid stuff for people that are just smoking a little bit of plants that they grew in the backyard. In 100 years, people are going to say we were so crazy
we
for
were,
living in this height. But it's
yep.
still reality.
We already think it's personally, I already think it's crazy that in the last 100 years, like the 1930s, we've seen such we've taken such a horrible approach. I'm already looking at it being like, oh my God, what were we thinking? Right? What were we thinking?
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
so I was watching you hang out with Vincent Weed too, man, when you were in Winnipeg,
Yeah,
in Germany. How was that? How was that?
yeah. So that guy knows basically everyone. He's the
Yes.
German.
He's
He's the German content creator. The funny thing is, all his content is really in German.
Yes.
So it really makes him like focus on one certain group. But you could notice that when we were walking around in the expo, so many people that said hi to him, and clearly he did know all of those people, but they were all super friendly and be like, "Hey Vince, what's up? How are you? Hey, great content, love your work." So it was really nice to see a lot of supportive people to Vince. And then, of course, Dakota made some nice videos with them as well. Actually, many of the home growers were recommended by Vince as well. That will be in the video of Dakota that goes about the home grow culture there in Germany. So he has a lot of contacts, also politicians, so important people in Germany, which really helped out a lot for making the documentary. Also, Leon, that maybe you have met him already, Leon? No, I'm sorry. Leon, we met him in California, but he's also from Germany. He's a professor. In the university, he's doing investigation about growing cannabis. And he also knew a lot of politicians and people that were working in the lawmakers, if I say that correctly. These people that were involved with the legalization of cannabis, so really, really important people. It was so nice to arrive in a country where basically we don't know anyone besides some key people, and they immediately introduced us to people that were playing a big role in this legalization. So very, very interesting. And because it's also new, they're also very open and willing to talk to you as a content creator because they want to get their message out. And this is all new. So exciting times to be in, a lot of changes that are coming now in Europe and hopefully outside of Europe as well.
Man, and I think that's crazy. I think that's awesome to see the advancement. It seems like it's almost happening so quickly too. It starts like dominoes, right? One falls, then boom, 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 boom. It's crazy, and I'm glad to see that each and every kind of country and each and every place that legalizes is doing better than the last in terms of how they're doing it. Because Canada had an approach to follow from Oregon and Colorado, and in Canada's great wisdom and more so the government, we said, you know what? Forget about those great examples. Let's try to figure out an entirely different way to do it. And it was horrible. It was horrible. We've done more bad things, I think. So it's great to see it happen in such a great way. How does it feel to be able to be involved in this? Because going to Vegas is huge. Being able to travel the world is huge. How does it feel to be able to, like, a part of the movement? Because you're doing big things right now. You're inspiring people. How does that feel?
Wow. To be honest, I haven't really thought about it like that. I
Bro,
see
you're
myself.
inspiring me. I want you to know that, like, when I watch your journeys and I watch when I watch your adventures, it's exciting. I think it's amazing to
Yeah.
see where we're taking ourselves in the name of this plan. So yeah,
Hmm.
if there's no one else out there that feels like me, I want you to know that at the very least you're inspiring me to keep going.
Wow.
How does that feel?
Uh, Thanks, man. Thanks. No, uh, I see myself as a home grower. And of course, I took it always very serious, and especially the last years, because I also want to teach people how to grow good cannabis. Here in Colombia, I also made a virtual course. I have also a grow shop here. I distribute seeds and fertilizers, help people to get their equipment or genetics to start growing. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, when we started here in Colombia, or let's say just 5 years ago, it was almost impossible to get good genetics, to get grow lights and grow tents, and that we completely changed here in Colombia. Now we have access to everything. We distribute almost all the European seed banks. We have about 13 seed banks now that we distribute. We have almost the whole catalog of AC Infinity as well. I have my own fertilizer line, and as I said, I teach people how to do it. So that's for one side. I always try to help people with that, but it's just a process that started automatically, and it just started because I was looking for solutions. And then, of course, I'm posting on my social media what I'm doing at home with my gear. And then people automatically ask, "Whoa, if you're in Colombia, where did you get it? Could you help me as well?" And then before you know it, I started the business in that. But even before that, when I was just a home grower and I didn't work in this at all, I always spend my money in traveling. I love to travel. And I always was looking for countries or locations where I could find maybe big wheat fields. So that means I went to South Africa, I went to Swaziland, I went to Morocco. When I was just, 18, 20 years old, literally the job that I had in the weekend and on all my vacations, I saved all that money. I didn't spend not even €1. So I could, the moment I had a holiday, I could take the plane and go and look for wheat fields. And I almost always found the wheat fields. So I feel that now it's like a combo of my passion, what I really like to do, but also making it my job, making content or um, getting new products to Colombia to then resell here just so I can keep doing that and keep doing it more and more. So basically my hobby became my job and now it doesn't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm on a holiday already since 5 years ago.
So
So
you have okay. So that was that's my that it kind of leads. You're doing this full time. Sorry, it's hard for me to speak. You are
yeah,
doing this full time now.
yes,
Good for
yes,
you, man.
absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah, I think I haven't had a boss now for 8 years now, I think. I also had an online business. I worked in affiliate marketing. So luckily that job went really well. And then I was already growing weed for fun. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna grow weed and I'll see where it brings me. That's what I really, really have passion for, what I really just like to do.
Yep,
So yeah, I've been doing that full time now.
bro. I'm so glad to hear.
Also, I think about 3 years now, the growing cannabis and being a tester grower the last year, especially.
Man, good for you. Good for you. Five. So it's been 5 years. So, 2019. Oh, 19 then, eh? I think I was 2020. We went full. I went full time in 2020. You went full. So yeah, we're about the same. About the same, man. And
Yeah, nice.
I feel this exact same as you, bro. It's a blessing. It's a hobby turned into a job. I don't even like. I only say a job because I'm able to make a living of it. I don't want it to sound like job as in something I don't enjoy.
Like we're work.
Love my job so much. So it's like I'm proud of you for making something happen of it because man, I feel like whether people ask me all the time, how do you manage to turn it lucrative? How do you turn it into a job? I said, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're a carpenter. I don't care if you sew. I don't care if you do yoga, if you babysit, like whatever you do. I honestly think if you can strap a camera up in the corner and make it appropriate that, people will enjoy and laugh with, you can turn that into a job. You can turn that into a career. You can turn that into a livelihood because there's so many brands, there's so many avenues, there's opportunities, there's people that believe in you, and you should do it. And man, I think anybody can. So the more people I hear that have turned to a feasible or a self-sufficient income, it's like pat yourself on the back because it's so nice to be able to break from that 9 to 5 because
Absolutely.
it can
Of
be.
course, I also have to admit it's easier here in Colombia because the cost here of living is, of course, much lower than in the USA. So it's easier to make that step because you don't need that much. The moment you have $1,000 a month coming in, you can be like, oh, nice. If I just, lower my lifestyle a little bit, I can survive with $1,000 a month. While in Belgium or in USA, of course, that wouldn't even pay the rent. So
Right.
it wouldn't be possible to do that. So there's also one of the things that really helped me start with it, which is living in Colombia and not spending too much money.
Smart, smart. What is the okay, if you don't mind me asking, what is the
Oh.
cost of living like in Colombia? Is
Um,
it's affordable, clearly, you just mentioned.
yeah, it's affordable, but I would say if you want to live very comfortable and go out for dinner with your friends, and go to the cinema, go to bowling, like have a fun lifestyle, I would say about $2,000 a month. You can live really, really nicely already in Colombia. While in Europe, I would need at least the double for that. So it's not like it's super dirt cheap like in Thailand or in other Asian countries like Cambodia. I heard those countries are even cheaper.
Okay.
But I like that, it's like a combination of it's where I live is pretty modern, it's well developed, we have good internet, the stores are closed. If I want to go and live in the mountains, I'm gonna spend only $500 or less. But then I'm also in the middle of the mountains, like very basic lifestyle. But I would say for people like us, who like good weed and good food and good drinks, And I would definitely say $2,000 a month is more than enough.
Okay, $2,000 a month is, that's what I think a lot of that's a middle class income. I think I don't
Yeah.
think that's about what I was making and I have a hard time talking about money, to be honest with you. But it's like because it's funny how money's so valued so weirdly.
They're very different.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
different.
Look at California, bro. Well, when we went there for the first time last year with the Dakota, man, it hurts. It hurted. Like we said before going, let's not watch too much the bills because we know we're going to just faint and get nauseous if we put everything into Colombian pesos.
Yeah.
But of course, have it in account. And I mean, in a month's time, I think we almost spent like $10,000. And I was like, fucking hell. I mean, of course, because the hotel is like $200 a night, the car rental,
Right.
gas.
Yep.
So you drive like 5 hours a day. It really costs a lot of money to go there and to be there and spend time there. So it's like, wow, if I would have to live there, man, I wouldn't know how to do it. Basically, I would have to work in a farm, not go out of the farm, eat and drink there, and then work basically as a slave somewhere hidden, and then go back to normal life, and then have a good amount of money. But no, it really hurts every time you spend money because it just goes so fast.
Yes.
Even just stopping at a gas station, like,
Yes.
oh, here's $20, but that $20 in Colombia, you can go to a nice restaurant, eat a nice steak, have a beer, leave a tip, and everybody's happy. So it's a huge difference when you're really helping
$20
the
you have a
number.
meal? $20? Well, how much?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like a nice meal in a nice restaurant. And this in the lunch, like,
American dollars?
yeah, my lunch here, for example, on the
Oh,
corner, just lunchtime, it's like a little bit cheaper. They have Menu del Dia, which is like a lunch menu that you just have a couple choices, but it's basic. But it has the soup, it has the dessert, it has the coffee, a main plate for just $4 American. And it comes with the service and everything, with beans and a banana, and so happy to see you.
I
Several.
just really think it's like I let that sink in for a minute. You're eating the same food as I am. You think about it, right? You're eating beef, chicken, pork, eggs. What I don't
Yeah.
think. Do you eat any weird animals that I don't eat?
Maybe a rabbit.
No, we eat rabbit.
A rabbit.
We eat rabbit. Uh,
But
I
I
don't
mean,
know. Well,
Colombia, it's pretty normal.
okay, no. So it's like and by unorthodox, I meant not necessarily weird, unorthodox per se. But I'm just thinking like, wow, wow. Really, it's like our governments make it this expensive. There's no reason it should be that expensive. Why we
Yeah,
should pay more? What is it?
it's very weird.
I don't know what
Do
it
you
is.
know, or guess, guess how much does a gram of wheat cost in Colombia if you would say like local wheat, produced in big quantities in Colombia, like what the Colombians buy, like in the normal black market, you have
Yeah,
plazas
yeah,
here, that's like
yeah.
selling point.
$10
How much do you
Canadian.
think 1 gram
Well, how much
costs
does
here?
okay, it's $10 Canadian where I'm at, and I guess that no matter where that kind of transitions to America. How much in Colombia? $5?
Oof, much less, bro.
Oh,
It's like less than $1 per gram.
wait on, even a
It's
gram
cheap.
costs less than $1.
Yeah, especially when you buy. Sorry, even when you buy just 5 grams or 10 grams, it will be like, I don't know, 50 cents per gram. When you're at the farm and you talk with the farmer, of course, it's in the mountains there, and the region is like a little bit controlled by the cartel, so it's not recommended for everyone to go there. But I talked with the farmers, and I was on the farm, and it's a general price that they have all over the valley for 1 pound at the farmer's place is wait, at 26,000 pesos would be $6.50 for a pound. Let's call it $10 because you want to give him a tip. Let's say it's $20 because you found the best weed ever in the mountains. $20 for 500 grams, so a pound. $20 for a pound, no joke. Dried, trimmed, ready to consume. I did find a lot of mold, and the weed is like a little bit shitty. But just thinking about those prices, are you like, what the fuck? Like $7 for a pound? I mean, what are we talking about? Basically for free.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So I'm thinking like, I'm like, okay, so in Canada, I'm paying a ridiculous amount of money. Okay, well, how's your health care? You don't have any health care. You guys have to look out for each other.
No, you're not gonna. No,
No, you wrap you hold on. You wrap each other up in coconut leaves, and you hope for the United States Coast.
and then the shaman was like, "Hey,
And a shaman, yeah, a shaman comes. Yeah, that's it. And then the smoke, right, right.
pigeons, you're not gonna believe it.
Oh
But in
my God.
Colombia, we have a great health insurance and a health system, if I say that correctly.
Health.
I mean, it's
Yep.
amazing. So many Americans, they come from the US to Colombia to get surgery done, to get their teeth done, to get anything medical. Basically, it's just day and night difference, not only in price but also service. Like the doctors here are really well educated. They usually have been traveling out of Colombia to also have international experience, and for example, um,
Man.
study in Europe or study in the United States. And literally, the machines that they use are the same ones as in Belgium, the same brands, same equipment. The doctors have been there. My wife, for example, has this insurance that costs, I think it's $1,000 per year or something like that. But literally, the doctors are waiting for you when you have an appointment. The door is open. They're waiting for you. You never do a line. They know you personally. They hug you.
Oh
They give you
my
here's the
God.
hand. Like it's going like to a friend. And they know your name and they know you so well. And that's like the super deluxe insurance that you can get. Like not a lot of people have that in Colombia, but we decided to take that a while ago before my wife getting pregnant.
Right.
And the
So okay,
service
so
that we
hold on,
have.
say that again. That's with super insurance.
Yeah, so that's the one that has like a.
How many people in Colombia have super insurance, you think, roughly?
I would say maybe only like the top 5%. If you have a nice company that you're working for, it's like included in your contract as one of the
Okay.
benefits.
Okay. And what about the other 95%? What if I what okay, what like do they have decent health care?
Yeah, they still have the same good quality doctors, the same equipment, just the waiting line is going to be much more. So,
Okay,
for
so
example,
welcome
I
to
would,
Canada.
yeah, so that then you're going to be, but still, it's like half an hour, 1 hour max.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Still at,
Half an hour to an hour wait line? Okay, okay.
yeah,
We're
even if you
eight.
have an
Okay,
appointment.
minimum we're 8 hours in Canada. Minimum 8 hours. If you stub your toe, well, no, no. Let's be serial though. That's if you have kidney stones, and you're like on the like in excruciating pain. Yeah, you're 7 hours minimum. Oh, we were four. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 hours minimum.
No,
I don't know. It depends on where you go. Okay, so we have comparable healthcare systems. I'll admit we have comparable healthcare systems. Okay, housing. So outside your house, is it just a straw hut?
where I live?
Yeah, I see drywall, but are you just in a straw hut outside of that?
No, actually, the houses here are built pretty normal. Just what I don't like about how it looks like is that they're all used like red bricks, which in Belgium we would only use that like this the second layer or the inside layer of the house. Here, because they don't have a lot of isolation, they only use one layer of brick walls, and they just use that red brick wall that is, for me, it's so ugly. I don't know why they just wouldn't paint it or like put some. I don't know, they could make it look so much better. But no, here that's very popular just because
Okay.
it's cheaper.
Okay.
Construction
Okay.
cheaper.
Okay.
But no, where we are is definitely pretty modern. And Medellin, for the people who don't know, Medellin is the city that has been growing for the last 20 years for like crazy, and it's super modern. So all the new buildings, all the towers are like maximum 20 years old. So it really looks really, really nice, and it's all new. So
Yep.
it still looks shiny. And
Everybody
still
knows Medina.
nice city.
Everybody watched Narcos.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we've established. Okay, so healthcare, housing. Okay, so education. You're clearly just in one room schools with 40 kids in the classrooms.
Yeah, public school here is pretty horrible, is what they
Oh,
tell me.
oh,
Of
okay.
course, I haven't been myself. It's
Similar to
I mean, I haven't been
Canada.
myself.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry. I said so far you're similar to Canada. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, but no, public school there is definitely a big difference. Like for my daughter, for example, I'll have to send her to a private school. Although I'm from Belgium, I never heard of private schools, or it's really not common in my circle
Mhm.
to send somebody to a private school. But here in Colombia, it was very clear. Everyone from the beginning, all my friends told me, like, Q, you really have to send your daughter to a private school. Don't even think about sending her to a public school. Even when she's only 3 years old, send her to a private school. And that's pretty expensive here. I think we will pay almost $1,000 per month, maybe less. But being from Belgium, where education is completely free and a very, very high quality, like we have very good education. I never paid $1 for my education.
Mhm.
So for me, that was pretty weird. Like, oh, we have to pay for school? What do you mean? They don't give it for free? You know, what do you mean? And of course, it is possible and it does exist, but the quality is really not the same. And we want to send her to a bilingual school or whatever. So
Of course.
that costs a little bit more here in Colombia,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
when we have
Okay.
kids.
Okay, okay. So I'm starting to figure it out now. And Colombia sounds like a beautiful country. Sounds like we're very comparable
It
to
is.
Canada. To be honest with you, I wouldn't trust my kid in the public school system in Canada either. I did for a couple years, but then pulled him out. He's gonna go back in it again, but it's just
Hmm.
oh, it's just a crazy system these days. I just feel like it's broken. It's broken.
Yeah.
I don't like that we're teaching our kids to prepare themselves for the Industrial Revolution. It's come and
Yeah.
gone already, right? So,
Yeah, no, that really does make sense. Yeah? They're preparing people to be employees, but not to be, oh, critical and
to
think for themselves and
yes,
provide,
yes.
surviving methods, growing plants,
Oh
growing
my
your own
God.
foods.
100%. Your own
You know,
natural remedies, taking care of yourself, not being like, I don't want to get political, but modern medicine isn't always the answer. And
yeah,
I feel like we just get that shit pushed on us so bad all the time. And
right.
part of that's because of the public school system. We're led to believe that just say yes. Just say yes. Don't worry about the consequences. And it's frustrating to me, as now a small business owner, I'm starting to learn about taxes. Taxes are j- something that we don't
Why
prepare
they never,
for.
why they never teach me that at school? I was
No,
there fucking
because
8 hours a day, and nobody was like, "Hey, Q, when you're making money later, you're gonna have to do this, and that." And now every time it's like it's such a stress factor because we didn't grow up with it and it doesn't feel natural to know all this stuff.
it
Well,
is a stress
the
factor.
basic stuff, we should know it when we're 10 years old, basically.
It's so frustrating, man. I totally agree with you. It's like one of the biggest mysteries to me is taxes, but you said it is they're preparing us to be consumer, or you didn't say it, sorry, but they're preparing us to be consumers. They're preparing us to be workers. They're not preparing us to, your employer will take care of your taxes. Don't worry about it. Why would you have to worry about your own taxes? That's frustrating to me.
Yeah, that's
Very
what, yeah,
frustrating.
only for bookkeepers, they say, well,
Just for
everybody should be a bookkeeper.
Yes, everybody should be a bookkeeper, man. Anyways, I don't, it's a crazy turn of things. Last time, we were talking. I think it was on From the Stash, right? You were on From the Stash,
Yeah,
and you were
yeah,
talking about you had your personal channel. You were about to work. You were doing something about Q's garden, personal garden,
yeah,
YouTube channel.
yeah,
How's
totally, bro.
how's that working out?
It's been going great, but a little bit slower than expected. So, first of all, we started a new channel, Q's Garden, on YouTube. We haven't posted the first video yet, but we've been editing now already 3 videos. I wanted to first build up a little bit of a list of videos so I can start, posting on a regular basis without, having to rush to the next video. So I don't want to rush into it either. And of course, then Dakota is not the editor for my channel, but Dakota is definitely involved and is also a partner in this channel. Um, so he's going to help us. to improve a little bit the content. We're working with a new editor, of course, means that we still got to tweak some things. I want to make sure that the videos are nicely edited because, of course, people will compare it fast and easy with Homegrown TV, which is like a super edited cinematic videos, high quality. So getting to that level is for now, for me, totally impossible. But at least we gotta try to make sure that those first videos are already, nice and entertaining to watch. And we want to set immediately the level high. So that's why it has been delayed a little bit. But the channel is definitely coming. Q's Garden, where we're gonna have a lot of smoke reports, strain reviews, because we grow so much wheat eat, you cannot believe it. I think we grew last year 200 strains.
Oh my
And then
god.
per strain, we do sometimes 3 to 5 phenos, depending. But let's just call it 200 strains. So that's a lot of strains that we cannot show, the whole process on YouTube, or post the whole photo session. It would be too much of the same stuff. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we just also do smoke reports about strains that maybe didn't make it to the video or the photo sessions, but are still important enough to talk about? Maybe I learned something in the growing process, or I figured out that, wow, this terpene is really specific for these type of patients or for this type of public. And we noticed in the seed to harvest videos of Dakota that the parts where we did use smoke sessions and smoke reports, that people really loved it.
Yes.
They commented a lot about it. They asked for more smoke reports, but didn't always have the time because me and Dakota had to sit together in the studio, for at least an hour. Sometimes that was difficult. So it was actually Dakota's idea. He was like, bro, you really should have your own channel, because I'm a little bit more consistent than Dakota, and I'm very work oriented, and I like to be in a rhythm and I like to be consistent. So it was like, that's really something for you. You could just basically make a video in the morning in the office, have the editor edit it in the evening, and basically in one day you have an amazing video with the B-roll content of Dakota or B-roll content that we shoot here in the office while we're growing the plants. So that's one thing, the smoke reports. On the other hand, we also want to show a little bit behind the screens there on Homegrown TV. Dakota makes so beautiful videos that they take a lot to edit, sometimes even a month. Just pure editing. So that also means that there's a lot of things going on in the office and the grow projects that we have running, events, cannabis events here in Colombia or outside of Colombia that we go to, that we don't post anything about. So we're like, man, I can definitely do that. With my vlog stick, we can show a little bit behind the scenes, and people really love to see it as well. So that's another thing. And then third, last but not least, educational content. As I mentioned before, it's one of my biggest dreams to teach a million people how to grow good cannabis at home, because that would mean everybody would have access to the best stuff that they like, for their personal use. And so that's why we want to also make educational content at Q's Garden.
Man,
That's the idea.
uh, yes. Yes. And yes. You got me so excited about that because I want to say something first because yes, you know what? Homegrown TV is doing some remarkable things. That kerosene video that you guys dropped a few days ago, that was exquisite. Exquisite.
Thanks, man.
And I want you to know, Q, that use Homegrown TV as that. Actually, you know what? Before I say any of this, I want to say it as a friend of friend, and rather than just a want you to use the Homegrown TV channel as your professional and say elegant and well edited and crisp outlet. Don't be, how do I say this? Don't be like kind of held back by how well or how often or the time or an effort that goes into those videos and that content. Don't let that hold you back to produce your own content, because you said it there. You said it. The smoke reports, the interaction, the vibe that you get from the community, you're 100% right. They love that. They love the one-on-ones. They love the raw. They love the unedited. YouTube is not Netflix. YouTube
Yeah.
is not HBO. It is not
Yeah.
a network. It is a, I believe this to my wholehearted, to my existence, is it is still an outlet for the individual to be able to convey what they're feeling and their personality. And I'm not trying to take away from it, from what Homegrow TV is doing, because it's fucking amazing. But that's the same as like Mr. Canucks Grow, and it'll grab views. It'll do very well. But that content doesn't build community. It doesn't build um, um, a place where you can go and kind of like have a space where people are going to motivate and excite you to create. What
Yeah.
you're proposing for your channel, that raw and unedited, that's what YouTube loves. That's what people enjoy, is that engagement one-on-one. And that's what I think Mr. Q's garden is going to be all about. I cannot wait, because you're right. 200 plus strains you guys grew. You have endless
Yeah.
amounts of content for smoke reports.
Yes.
You're so passionate, Q. You're so engaging. You're exciting. So don't worry about making it look like Homegrow TV, because Homegrow TV is Homegrow TV. Mr. Q and the passion that you have to deliver, I think, is what you should be focused on. And I can't wait for that, man. So I
Thanks,
kind of
bro.
just went on this spiel because like I know what it's like to compare ourselves, because when I look at Homegrow TV and I compare it, my little dick compared to that big dick, I'm like, wow, that's huge. That's huge. But the
Yeah.
reality is that my little dick's got me places. It's got me places, right? And it used to be an even smaller dick, but now it's just a little big dick. But the thing is that it's just like you're an engaging guy, and I don't want you to be held back by your little dick.
Thanks,
Man,
bro.
I'm just kidding. I just didn't know where I was going.
That's a really well, not about the dick, but all the rest was really great advice, Pete. Actually, yeah, you're right. That's also what my editor said. Is like, we're trying to go for a different style, but as I said, Dakota is also involved in the channel, so he's also the one saying like, guys, we can make this better. Just a couple tricks here. I can teach you some things, but yeah, we shouldn't let ourselves uh
Over,
like get it hold back.
or over analyze, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to
yeah,
have sweet transitions. It doesn't have to be 55 minutes long. Like like, let me tell you, I love Dakota. I love Homegrow TV. I love Mr. Canucks
yeah.
Go. I
Yeah,
love all
we're
that.
not getting any comments, it's
No,
different style.
that's it. There's a place for that. There's a place. I love that shit. I love putting that stuff on late at night and just vibing. So that don't be
Yeah,
taken away from that. But what I say, there's a reason. There's a CNN, there's an MSNBC, there's a Fox News, there's
yeah,
a Hulu, there's an HBO, there's a reason, there's a Peacock, there's all of these places, because they all offer something, but in a little different way. So
yeah.
I'm so glad that you're creating, though, because I can't wait to see what you have in store, man, because your expertise is exciting
Yeah,
to
it's
follow.
it's actually funny that you say that about the Netflix and the HBO and those channels because it's true for Homegrown TV and so especially for Dakota. One of our dreams is one day to make a documentary about cannabis, of course, maybe in Colombia or all over the world, but basically make a Netflix documentary that who knows, ever one maybe one day will be in Netflix
You will.
and really make it this cinematic style of documentary that people try and they have feelings and they're like it really touches people and of course a very long video. So it's true actually that the channel of Homebrew TV is really that type of Netflix style and we always say like let's make the next Netflix movie. And we hope one day after making 100 Netflix movies, there will be an opportunity or there will be a combo that we will be like, oh, we're going to make a real film for Netflix. So it's one of our goals. But you're right. For Choose Garden, that's totally off topic. And that's the goal. I actually even forgot to
Different
mention
same topic, different category.
different category. Yeah, totally. One of the things I also want to do there at Q's Garden is the vlog. So as I said,
Yes.
behind the
Yes.
screens of Homegrown TV, one side, But also here in Colombia, as we have like a semi um, legal market and so legal licensed companies, especially where we live here, like just 10 minutes from my place. There's a big licensed company where they have thousands of plants, and actually maybe 90% of the plants they grow are seeds from my store, which means they have 10 different seed banks from Europe doing, seed pheno hunts between 200 genetics whatsoever. So there in those companies, it's also so interesting for me as Mr. Q to go and visit them and check out those genetics, see the difference outdoors, see 100 phenos of the same genetic, pick out my winner, take a video of it, take a picture of it, dry it at home, smoke it, show the whole company, show how I got there from here. People love to see the images from Colombia when we show a drone shot or a video from the surroundings. People always go crazy. They're always like, whoa, what's that? Just because it's so different than where they live. Same for my Belgian friends. For them, it's just so different. It's really like, what the hell? You should show them much more, like where you are, how you got there. People want to see everything. They want to see basically how I make my coffee. It's crazy.
You darn right. Yeah, you darn right they do. Yeah, yeah. And the reason is,
Wow.
I believe that is because this is YouTube, right? This is YouTube. People want to connect with you. That's kind of the essence but the reason this whole platform got started. So it's like
Totally.
it makes sense to. Excuse me, I got hiccups. I'm a few beers deep. It makes sense to me that that's what people are going to respond to the most.
Yeah.
You're now. I'm always flattered at discussing with creators, or I always get flattered when I talk about other creators about creating. It's something that I kind of jive with. But you're doing some testing with genetics, are you not? Right now, you're testing genetics.
Yeah. I'm actually growing now. How many is it? I'm doing 40 genetics at the moment for 4 different seed banks. And so for this project, mostly what they asked me to do is take pictures of the final results. So we hire super professional photographers for that who are now even trained by Eric Nutshots, who came all the way from the
Oh,
USA
yeah.
to Colombia to teach us to improve our techniques. Actually, here in this house, here in the office that I'm at now,
Oh my God.
and
You were
so
with Eric Nugshots?
yeah, he stayed here for was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? He stayed at my house for about a week, I think. And we worked a couple days here together. So he was hired to do a couple of photo shoots for seed stalkers and for Humboldt Seed Company. They also did a strain, and then for Black Tuna Seeds, another Colombian company, some hash makers here. So he got hired by a bunch of people, and then we hired him to do a workshop with our local photographers that, of course, are huge fans of Eric Nutshots. I know Eric Nutshots because of them. They were the ones who showed me, like, did you see this guy? Have you seen his pictures?
Yup.
That guy's amazing. And then I went to California to do pheno hunts, and I met Eric Nutshots there in person. I was like, bro, you don't know, but people in Colombia even, they admire you. They admire your work, and I know you because of them. That's pretty crazy. And then so we could do a workshop with him here. So we got our own gear, our own cameras, our own flashes, our own reels, the photographers, and basically Eric Nutshots was, looking over the shoulder,
Yes.
try that, let's try this technique, this lighting, let's do this and that. So really we can say now that the pictures are just they're really fucking amazing. They're ready to go on a poster, on a banner, on a design. So that's what we do. We take amazing pictures, also some video shots now. Um, I'm gonna then, of course, write a grow report. And sorry,
No, I'm sorry. I was muttering under my breath. Good for
no,
good for
nice.
you.
So yeah, sending the flowers to the lab, taking the pictures, and then of course, what they really want is the grow report, because in the grow report, I can tell them, look, this plant is very sensitive for mold, or this one got attacked by mites super easily, while the other one didn't at all. Maybe one turned out male or hermaphrodites. Well, whatever problem I run into, I let them know. Usually, the strains that I grow are the ones that are gonna come out, or they want to test a new batch of a strain that already exists, but they just got a new batch of the breeder. And just to make sure before they launch it again or put it back online, they send it to a couple of growers to make sure that it really is what it is.
Yeah.
So if it's a summer diesel, it really needs to smell like sour. It really needs to have the gassy tone. It really needs to fit the description. If not, well, they're gonna change something or double check this. So I'm still honored that those seed banks trust us to do that job. That's also thanks to Homegrown TV and that people can really see it in video what we do. But even besides that, it's always word to word. It's always just everything is just verbally agreed, and that those brands trust us to give their feedback. For me, is really it's an honor. Sometimes I'm just sitting here and I still cannot believe it that I'm writing those reports, and when I mention something weird, they really take it serious. And they're like, "Hey, can we do a video call about this issue that you had about this plant? I want to know more about it." It really shows that the brands are interested about knowing your opinion. And sometimes they just pull out a batch because you tell them like, "Look, only one seed germinated of 5. Do another germinating test. You should double check that." And they do the same. And it's like, "Fuck yeah, this batch really sucks." And then they pull the batch. Was that it? Well, thank you that you wanted to wait 3 months before really putting it on sale, and that you have the time and the effort to let me grow it. So it really shows a lot of the brands and the trust that we get is like
And who are you teamed up with? Like, who are you doing that with?
the pictures. I do them by myself. I have like a company here in Colombia, so I grow the plants here in the office. But of course, we have our grow bros. The grow bros help
Yep.
us totally with the watering of the plants. I like to water by hand, but then we hire somebody for that. The grow bro is trained by us. As I mentioned, I have a digital course, a virtual course in Spanish. So the grow bros, they went through the course. They've done practicas here with us. So the first months are just watering with them, explaining everything step by step. And then the photographers, as I mentioned, they're professional photographers focused on cannabis. And there are two of them, Paco and Guillermo, and both of them have been trained by Eric Nutshot. So that's also really, really good. That I'm basically the one who organizes everything. I have the company, I make all the logistics work, and I grow the plants. I make sure every day I go into the grow room and I check, oh, did you see that plant? I will give that one a little bit more water. Let's put down the lights a little bit. Let's measure the ppfd. Let's measure the EC of that because I see the plant's a little bit weird. Just some little instructions with the grow bro, but basically the grow bro, he has it under control. He knows what it's doing. He has his own grow at home. Um, those guys are just I love those dudes because they also have a lot of passion and they really do it because they love to and they want to help us and they want to grow amazing weed. So thanks to the team, it's all possible. And then of course Dakota, with him, so I do Homegrown TV. That's all his. I would say he's the boss there. He's the mastermind. He makes those amazing videos all by himself. And I was just the weed specialist, and I help here and there wherever I can. That's the idea. So it's a teamwork, but we all have our tasks, and it's all divided a little bit. So I can definitely not say I'm just doing this by myself. No, no.
Of course not. It's never just done by ourselves. Never, ever, ever, never.
No,
Quinn,
no, it's
bro,
a team.
thank you so much for being here, man. You and I could sit here and talk for hours, and I say this with everyone, but you and I could sit here and talk for hours and hours because we just share our story. We haven't even talked about growing, as most cases we never do.
Man, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started.
I would.
Oh,
Real quick, man. If anyone wanted to follow you, if anyone wanted to ask you any questions, where could they reach you? Where could they touch base?
the easiest, I guess, would be on Instagram. It's QS Garden 420. It's just that's my new page that I just started. The other one is in Spanish, maybe a little bit more difficult, but it's Cultiva con MRQ2. So just Cultiva con Mr. Q number 2. So that one is a bit more difficult. So it's
Okay.
going to be easier to find me on the QS Garden 420. Maybe if you can put a link somewhere,
I will.
description or anything that would be great.
I 100% will. I'll make
Yeah,
sure I
okay.
link that. Yeah, I'll make sure 100% I link that on the description below. We got a good little
Bro,
desktop there, which is good.
thank,
Um,
thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting the link. Thank you also for having me here. It's fucking really nice, and I agree. We could talk for hours.
You darn right you could, man. We spent a whole week in Vegas together. It was beautiful. And then we didn't even touch on breaking glass together, bro. The broken glass, man.
That's when it got a little bit too crazy.
It got a little crazy, man. Who, okay, real quick, real quick. Who dropped, okay, between Heaven and Sydney, who dropped the glass? What do you think? I have it in slow motion. I actually know. And I'm going to break it
I
down.
don't know if I can publicly say that, bro, but I have to. If I had to say a name, and you really would push me for it, I would have to say Sydney. But Heaven was like ready to take all the blame. She was like, "It'd be me, me."
They both handled they both handled it like
Push me
champs.
to you.
It, when it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango. So no matter what happens,
Also,
they both dropped it. So
also,
yeah.
it was just getting a little bit wild. You know, it was big. We were having amazing dinner, smoke break outside. You know, the stuff.
It was
So
so
it
good.
was getting a little bit wild. Yeah.
Good steak, good lobster. Mr. Q, thank you so much for joining me tonight, brother. It was an absolute
So much.
pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you. Thank
It's an
you.
honor.
We're going to do this again, okay? We're going to do this again.
Thank you, bro. Invite me. I'll be here.
Please. You
Have
are
a good day, guys.
one of the best to have. Thanks. Mr. Q, thank you, everybody. Make sure you go check out Mr. Q from Homegrow TV, the man, the myth, the legend himself, my friend, Mr. Q, Quentin himself. Thank you, sir. Be well.
Thank you.